All right, you guys, so we are going to go over our Unit 4 review. Our first little section is just reviewing graphing. So we are going to start with number 1. All right, so we have our y equals mx plus b form. So we're going to start with our -2. That is our b value. So we are going to plot a point at -2. And then our slope is 7 over 2 with our rise over our run. So that means we're going to rise 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to go to the right 2 spots. And then just have to connect those 2 spots. So that should be the look of our graph on number 1. Number 2, we're going to plot our b value at +3. Our slope we can always put over 1. So that means we're going to go down 6. And then we're going to go to the right 1. So that is our slope of -6 over 1. So connect those 2 points. And there's our line. Number 3. So number 3, x equals 5. So if we have our point on x equals 5, that's on our x-axis. Okay, so then if you think about this of like x coordinates, we could have x is 5, 0. So that's the exact point that we just plotted. So say x is 5 and y is 2. Then we have a point right here. If x is 5 and y is -2, then we have a point right here. Okay, we could have x is 5 and y is -5. We have a point down here. So if you look, all of those points where x is 5 are all on that same line, that vertical line right there at x equals 5. Moving on to number 4. So we're going to plot our y-intercept of +2. Our slope is 1 over 4, so that means we're going to go up 1, and we're going to go to the right 4, okay? From our y-intercept, we can also go opposite, so we can go down 1 and to the left 4, just following that same pattern. So now we have 3 points that we can connect, and that is what our graph looks like. All right, moving on to the next side. So the next ones, we are putting them into y equals mx plus b form. We're just solving them for y, so we want to get y by itself. So in this first case, we have y. So we're going to have to move our 3x to the other side. So we're going to get rid of the 3x. So that means y equals -3x plus 12. On number 2, we're going to have a similar situation. So we're going to have to subtract 2x from both sides. So y is going to equal -2x plus 41. From here on out, they get a little bit trickier. So we're going to subtract 6x from both sides. So we're going to get 2y equals -6x plus 12. Next, we have to divide through by 2 because we want y all by itself. So we're going to get y equals -6 divided by 2 is -3x plus 12 divided by 2 is 6. Okay, number 4, start the same way. We're going to move that value with our x. So we have 4y equals -3x plus 8. Then our last step is to divide by the number in front of y. So divide through by y. So y equals 3 and 4 don't divide to give you a clean number. So we're just going to leave it as a fraction. And then 8 divided by 4 is 2. Okay. Moving on. This time we have a negative x value. So we're actually going to add 7x to both sides. Zoom in a little bit. So add 7x to both sides. So we're going to get -2y equals 7x plus 18. From there, we have to divide through by -2. So we're going to get y equals 7 over -2x minus 9. Okay, 7 over -2 is the same thing as -7 over 2x minus 9. As long as that fraction is negative, it tells you which way your slope is going to be going. So it doesn't matter if it's on the top or the bottom. All right, number 6. So number 6 is going to be like graphing on the first page. We're going to start with our y-intercept of 4. And then we're going to have a slope of -3. So that means -3 over 1. So that means we're going to go down 3, and then we're going to go to the right 1. And down 3 to the right 1. Just keep repeating that. Okay? Since we have a greater than or equal to, we're going to keep the line as a solid line because it has that equal to underneath. That's really important. That equal to tells us that it's greater than or equal to, so it's a solid line. And then since y is greater, we're shading above or up. So we're shading over here. Then our last thing, it says is 0, 0, a solution. So to be in the solution, it's in the shaded part. And 0, 0 is going to be this point right here, right at our origin. So since 0, 0 is not in the shaded part, it is not a solution. All right, number 7. I'm going to start by graphing our y-intercept, which is at -5. Our slope is -x, which means -1 over 1x. So that means we're going to go down 1 and to the right 1. And I'm going to go the opposite direction too to kind of continue that pattern. So that is what our points look like. Since it doesn't have the equals underneath here, it's just the greater than, they're going to be a dashed line. So it's not going to be connected, just a dashed line. Then y is greater than, so that means we're going to shade above. And this time, is 0, 0 a solution? 0, 0 is in the shaded part, so yes, it is a solution. Down to number 8. So number 8, we're going to start plotting our -4. Then our slope is 4 over 3. So rise 4 and to the right 3. Rise 4 and to the right 3. So it looks like this. Again, it does have that equal. It's less than or equal to. So that means we're going to be connecting our line with a straight line. And then it says y is less than that. So we're going to be shading underneath the line, or we're going to be shading down. Okay, is 0, 0 a solution? It is not in the shaded area, so no, it is not a solution. Okay, last one, y is greater than -4. So y at -4 is here. Since it's just greater than, it's not greater than or equal to, we're going to have a dashed line through that y at -4. Okay, and then it says y is greater than that, so it's bigger, so we're going to go up. So we go shade up here, and then 0, 0 is in the shaded area, so yes, it is a solution. Okay, it says number 11, identify the x and y intercepts. So we're going to be solving for x and solving for y separately. The first way we're going to do that is we're going to set it up, and we're going to pretend like that y quantity doesn't exist. So we're just going to pretend like the x's is all we see. So we got to get x by itself by dividing by -3. So x equals -6. Writing that as a ordered pair, we're going to have -6, 0. So that is our x-intercept. Then we have to solve for y, so we're going to do the same thing. Pretend like that x isn't there. Just focus on the y's. So to get y by itself, divide by 2, y equals 9. So our y-intercept is going to be 0, 9. All right, number 12. Number 12 is where we're going to use our calculator. So it says use linear regression to find the equation that best represents data. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to go to our catalog, which is second 0, and then we're going to go all the way down until we turn our diagnostics on. Let's see. There we go. Diagnostics on. Enter, enter. Okay. So then we're going to enter this information into our stat edit function. So the top here, these are our x coordinates. And then the bottom is going to be our y's. So our x coordinates are going to be 18, 24, 30, 40, 42, 48, and 52. Okay, so those are our x coordinates. Our y coordinates, we have 260, 280, 320, 380, 400, 440, and 475. All right, so once we have the information all up here, and if you notice for every x there's a y, we're going to go stat over to calculate, and then number 4, our linear regression. So we're just going to keep pressing enter until we calculate it. So we have y equals ax plus b, where a is going to be our slope. So a is actually our m value, as what we're used to calling it. So our a value is 6.4, and our b value is 132.95. Okay, so then we're going to write our equation. So if y equals ax plus b, we're going to have y equals 6.4x plus 132.95. So this is our final equation. So our next question asks, use the equation to find the number of calories burned if Christy went on the treadmill for 45 minutes. So since minutes is our x value, our x coordinate, we're going to take our equation and we're going to plug in 45 for our x coordinate. So we're going to go ahead and calculate this out. So we're going to have 6.4 times 45 plus 132.95. And our answer is going to be 420.95 calories, or if we round up, 421 calories. All right, moving on. So we are going to be using this equation quite a lot. So our point slope equation. So it says it has a slope of 2 and goes through the point 1,6. So our point is going to be our y1, x1, and our slope is our m value. So we're going to have y minus 6 equals 2 times x minus 1. So we just plugged in our y1, our m, and our x1. Next thing we have to do is distribute. So we have y minus 6 equals 2x minus 2. Last step is add 4. Oh, I'm so sorry. Add 6. So y equals 2x plus 4. That's where I was getting the 4. All right, number 14 is exactly the same. We have x1, y1. Negative 2 is our m value this time. So we have y minus 1 equals negative 2 times x minus 1. So we're going to distribute that negative 2. So y minus 1 equals negative 2x plus 2. Got to do the opposite, so we're going to add 1 to both sides. And y equals negative 2x plus 3. All right, for 15 and 16, you can solve it 2 ways. I will show you guys both ways. On number 15, I'm going to show you guys kind of the long, drawn-out way by hand. And then on number 16, we'll do it in the calculator. So on number 15, we're first going to have to find our slope using our slope formula, which is up here at the top. So we have x1, y1, and x2, y2. So we have y2 minus y1. Minus a negative changes into plus plus. And then we have x2 minus x1. So we have negative 7 plus 5 is negative 2. 1 minus 0 is 1. Negative 2 divided by 1 is just negative 2. So that means the slope for this equation is negative 2. Then we're going to go back to using that point slope equation. So we're going to have y minus our y1, and it equals our slope times x minus x1. From there, we have plus plus, distribute our negative 2. So we have y plus 5 equals negative 2x plus 0, because anything times 0 is 0. Then our very last step is subtract 5 from both sides. So y equals negative 2x minus 5. Okay, so that's the way to do it by hand. Now I'm going to show you how to do number 16 using our calculator. So number 16, we're going to use our table. We have x, y. So we have an x and an x. So 2 and 4, and our y values are going to be 7 and 8. So we're going to go over here to our calculator, and we're going to go to Stat Edit. I'm going to clear out those columns up top, and I'm going to input these points right here. So in our x's, we have 2 and then 4. In our y's, we have 7 and 8. Okay, so we're going to go to Stat Calc 4, and we're going to calculate, and now we have our a value is 0.5, or if you write it as a fraction, 0.5 is 1/2, and our b value is 6, and y equals ax plus b. So we're going to have y equals 1/2 x plus 6, and that is going to be our final equation.